The Bay Area is a place where its food and beverage options are just as famous as the cable cars and the Golden Gate Bridge. The region is influenced and inspired by dozens of cultures and palates from around the globe. The city takes great pride in its culinary scene, as it does its sports teams. Culinary Assist is a series where I get a chance to sit down with a member of the Golden State Warriors, share a meal, and chat about life outside of basketball. And what better way to kick it off than with the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, Coach Steve Kerr, joining us today. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I don't think our time overlapped here in the Bay Area, but I've admired your work from afar, and I'm so excited to share a meal and some wine with you today. Today's pairing is Dumpling Time's shrimp shumai, paired with a Twomey sauvignon blanc. So we'll start chatting a little bit, but let's eat first, right?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Looks great.
All right. I love dumplings. Are dumplings or dim sum ever on the menu when you're on the road?
100%.
These are delicious.
These are really good. I just go for the whole thing in one bite, by the way. I am a huge dumpling fan, and something I look for on road trips for sure. And here in San Francisco, that's one of the first things I look for.
Let's see how this pairs with the wine. It's nice. Very crisp and refreshing. I love pairing sauvignon blanc with Asian food. I feel like you got the spicy, you got the different flavors, and it kind of is this crisp complement to it, and you got some fruity flavors going on. I know for me, living here in the Bay Area, I really started to appreciate wine more. You've got obviously Sonoma and Napa in the backyard. When did you become more of a wine drinker?
I didn't drink wine at all till I was in my mid-30s, probably.
Really?
So pretty late, yeah. It was just pretty much beer, and that was about it.
Yeah, it's easy to fall in love with it, right? And I've been reading a lot more stories lately about just kind of the wine culture in the NBA right now and how it's really growing. Why do you think that is?
It's a great question. I think there may be a health benefit, a health reason for it. But I also think players are really sophisticated in terms of their appetites, what they're eating, how they're living, traveling. So, and I think wine sort of matches up with all of that. So we're seeing more of that.
As I mentioned before, Twomey, part of the Silver Oak family, which is a choice wine here in the Bay Area. What is Coach Kerr generally filling his glass with?
Pinot Noir is probably our favorite. When I say our, it's my wife, my wife and me. The Sonoma Pinots over the Oregons, we kind of tend to lean that way. I like the lighter wines compared to the heavier kind of cabs and more flavorful, richer wines. I'm not sure why. It's just kind of the way I've gravitated.
I mean, that's the cool thing about wine, right? You find what you like and you kind of explore that a little bit more and continue filling your glass with what you like.
Yeah.
I think the other cool thing that we're seeing right now, especially in sports, is at arenas, at stadiums, at these different venues. I feel like when I was growing up, and I'm sure for you too, it was, hot dogs and beer. Like, that's what you got. And now you're coming to these arenas like the Chase Center. You get to have top-notch wine, top-notch food, and it's really become more of, a full experience.
No doubt.
How do you think that just enhances the way the fans are able to enjoy sports?
It's amazing how far we've come. I mean, I remember going to games growing up in Los Angeles with my dad, my brother. We'd go to Dodger games, and it's like hot dogs, peanuts, and a Coke, and that's about it.
That's it.
And now it's incredible what you can find all over the place.
I know for me, and I think for a lot of people, flavors and smells really kind of become this like memory trigger. And I know you have such a unique upbringing, Beirut, Lebanon, and then Egypt for a time as well. What kind of food memories do you have from growing up in different
overseas?
Yeah.
Mediterranean foods for sure kind of hold a place in my heart. Hummus and baba ganoush and a really good warm slice of pita and just the spices in good Lebanese food. It's just because I ate a lot of them growing up. It just always appeals to me. My parents would cook a lot of the Lebanese food because we had lived there and they took a liking to it, so they would cook it for dinner sometimes, and we had a lot of visitors from the region who'd come over for dinner, and they'd bring dishes and bring stuff. And to this day, I still look for Lebanese restaurants on the road. And
do you cook at all?
Yeah, I like to cook.
What's your competition dish if you were thrown into something?
Probably a stir-fry dish. Yeah, I don't have great imagination. Like, I couldn't just go to the market and say, all right, I'm gonna make this up, and I'm gonna, I need a recipe in front of me.
That's fair.
So I'll go to the market, take a recipe that looks good, but I like the process. I like to plan it and think about what I'm gonna cook, find a good recipe, go to the store, buy the ingredients, and then the process of cooking it, it's very cathartic, it's very calming. But when our kids were growing up, I really enjoyed kind of, the 5 o'clock hour, starting to cook. Kids are coming in the door, and the smell of the food, and pour a glass of wine, and turn a game on, and I hear the kids coming into the kitchen, and it felt like home.
Yeah.
It felt like what home is supposed to feel like. I love that, what food can do in that regard.
What is life like on the road when you're traveling so much, but also trying to get some good meals in, maybe also trying to relax and decompress from the games?
Yeah, the game nights are pretty hectic. The stress of trying to win the game and preparing for the game. So when you do have an off night, it's a really fun chance to do something special. And often that means just going to that restaurant that everybody loves. And so what we try to do is we do a lot of team meals.
Okay.
And it's great for camaraderie. And we ask our players if they want to go and if they want to bring family in town or friends, and it ends up being a huge gathering and a lot of food and wine flowing, and it's really a great sort of team bonding exercise.
I'm always curious who picks up the bill in that situation when you have the whole team at a dinner or something like that.
If we do the whole team, the team picks up the bill.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's nice.
And not every team does that. In fact, most teams don't do that. But I have to pay when it's just the coaches.
I think that's fair, right?
That's fair. That's how it should be.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're very busy, but I always enjoy breaking bread with somebody and having a fun conversation. And we'd like to say thank you also to the Warriors in Silver Oak for setting up this fun little lunch break here. So with that, we'll say cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you next time on Culinary Assist.